Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol, and welcome to my CarVid19 Daily vlog, uploading a new video every day at 6 PM to keep you sane during lockdown. Now, the question I get asked quite a lot is, what do I do for a real job? Well, it's time for another dog walk and another chat with Petrol, and I thought you might be interested in how I got to be where I am today. What job do I do really? What pays the bills? And what my aspirations are for the future. Come on, Das, come on! Ali Bob, go and get your sister. She's slowing us down. Come on, dude! That's not working. I've had so many lovely comments about these kind of dog walk chats. I thought this would be a great opportunity just to talk to you a little bit about what I do for a living. And after the film I did about my dad being such an inspiration, and I mentioned the fact that I really thought about being a pilot, and then he said, you don't want to do that. The next thing I decided I was going to be was an engineer. So when I was at school, now, interesting known fact, I was the first year to do GCSEs, and I did okay in my GCSEs. And then because I wanted to do engineering, when I went to A-levels, I did maths, physics, engineering, drawing. I know that's where you use a pencil, not computer-aided design, and general studies. And then I started to plan where I was going to want to go to university to study engineering. And at the time, I really wanted to get a sponsorship by a large company to help me financially through university. Again, these are in the days before things like tuition fees and even student grants. Student loans. So I was the first year to be offered student loans as well. And I went out to a whole range of engineering companies, and I was very lucky. I actually ended up with 4 offers of sponsorship. One from Rolls-Royce Aero Engines to study aeronautical engineering at Loughborough. One from Michelin Tyres to study manufacturing engineering at Salford University. I got an offer from Hawker Siddeley. Again, that was to study studying mechanical engineering. And then finally I got an offer from British Aerospace Dynamics to study manufacturing engineering at the University of Hertfordshire, or actually it was Hatfield Poly back then, because I was also the last group of people to actually get entry into a polytechnic using a system called PCAS. Now it's all under UCA, and universities and polytechnics were all merged together in my first year at university. Then I spectacularly messed up my A-levels, and that meant I couldn't go to Loughborough to do what I really wanted to do, which was aeronautical engineering. And I'm really, really lucky that British Aerospace stuck with me, and I ended up going to Hatfield Polytechnic to do manufacturing systems engineering, and then that became the University of Hertfordshire in my first year. So I did manufacturing, and then went into, I actually did a year in industry first with British Aerospace, working at their Stevenage facility. I did a 4-month placement in Paris, working on the attack helicopter bid. At the time, the UK government were wondering whether they were going to buy the Apache attack helicopter or the Eurocopter Tiger. Far superior platform, have to say. Unfortunately, they bought Apache, so I worked on that, which was really interesting. And then when I left university, I went to work for British Aerospace Dynamics in Stevenage. And it was super interesting work, really enjoyed it, but the progression in terms of career progression and pay progression was relatively slow. So I decided I was going to leave that, and I went to work for a company that was actually part of the Harman Kardon group, a company called Soundcraft based in Potters Bar, and we made basically mixing desks for the music industry, the big desk you see at concerts or in music studios. And I worked there for a couple of years as a production manager, really enjoyed that, but it started to dawn on me that manufacturing really wasn't for me, and I wanted to try and do other things. So I then went to work in London for an organisation called the Engineering Council, because, little known fact, I was quite active in the Institute of Electrical Engineers, and I just really found that what the Engineering Council does is to promote engineering in schools for young people, also as a profession. They hold the Charter of Chartered Engineers. I am actually a chartered engineer. You might not realise that, but I am. And it was really interesting work. But while I was there, I started to realise that actually where my strengths lay, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to do the vlog, is you really do need to start formatting a career or thinking about what you're going to do based on what your strengths are, and don't be afraid to change if the plan of your career that you set out and decided upon isn't for you. And I decided to change, and I realised that presenting was something I was very, very good at. I used to go on training courses and sit in the course and watch the trainer at the front and think, I'd love to do that. So I started to look for opportunities in training. And then one day, going into work in London, Thursday, Telegraph appointments section day, I saw an advert by Ericsson to be a technical trainer in telecoms. No telecoms knowledge needed. All you needed was an engineering degree, check. Good communication skills, check. And you want to learn. Yeah, and that was me. So I applied, got the job, the rest is history. So I went to work for Ericsson. Now, as a trainer in telecoms, what I was doing at that time was operation and maintenance courses on telephone exchange equipment. So Ericsson had a big platform called AXE10, and I started to train people how to fix those. I worked with Ericsson for about 2 years and started to go from just originally fixed line telecoms into mobile telecoms, and then decided that I really wanted to work for a company where training was their sole focus. So moved to another company that was just a pure training company called Ray Castle, based up in, at the time actually, Ray Castle, just next to Ambleside in the Lake District. And I worked there for 10 years, and I moved through all the different sort of into mobile, became a specialist in mobile, particularly what we call core networks, so things like voice over IP and next generation networks, those types of things. I worked for them for about 10 years and then decided with a group of colleagues, there were 5 of us, decided to leave and set up our own training business, which we did, and I ran that successfully for about 7 years. By this time, I've started to think about doing YouTube. I start doing YouTube. YouTube is very slow for the first year, but let me just check on the dogs. Come on, you two, we're going this way. Yeah, come on. Hallie's always speedy. Darcy's always really slow, inbound. Come on, dude. Yeah, so I started doing YouTube. It started to grow, it started to give me opportunities to do stuff, and I just didn't have the leave or the time to do it. So I decided to take the big leap and go freelance. And I did that. It'll be 3 years in the summer. I went freelance, and what that means is I work with clients to deliver their training content, still in telecommunications, to their customers as a contractor, basically. And the kind of things I do, I train. Some courses might be a 5-day long course that talks about all the technologies to do with telecoms, from fixed line to 2G, 3G, 4G and 5G technologies, what the network looks like, what boxes there are on the ground, how it works, and all that kind of stuff. And then for another client of mine, I do a program where we do the technology stuff, but we also do all the strategy and the business and the finance and the people skills to do with being a mobile or fixed line operator. And we're training senior people that work for those types of businesses. So really interesting stuff. So I do that, if you like, it's my main source of income. My target for that is 5 to 10 days a month, and then that frees me up the rest of the time to do YouTube and other things. So I did that for a couple of years, and then last summer I got involved in the Vintage Voltage TV project. And although I'd done a few bits of presentation stuff for the Goodwood big screen at Festival of Speed, I'd been trying to get into TV presenting for quite some time. So to be given an opportunity to actually be involved in the making of a TV program was really, really special for me. And as a 7-month project, it was just an incredible experience. Now, we finished filming for that. We wrapped literally the week before lockdown was announced. The program is now airing in the US, and it will be coming to the UK in June, 24th of June actually, on Quest. And that was a paid project, so the 3 kind of strings to my bow, if you like, the telecoms training, the TV presenting and the YouTube work. But going forward, my aspirations are, I really want to build up YouTube as a platform to to not just create content and interact with you guys, but look, at the end of the day, I'm a businessman, I need to make money, so I need to monetize that platform in the best way possible, that's in keeping with the channel, in keeping with you guys and respecting you guys, but still doing that. So not just ad revenue, but brand deals and those types of things are things I am working on currently, even things like our merch that we're doing with Control and Shift. They're all ways for me to try and bring in money from my YouTube side of the business. The training side of the business, very challenging at the moment. Clearly with lockdown, the vast majority of my training I deliver is face-to-face training in a classroom. And actually this week, I'm delivering a 5-day classroom-based training course virtually. So we're using a virtual platform to deliver that training for one of my clients. Because of need and necessity. So it'll be really interesting. I'm starting to work with a number of my clients to move, if you like, classroom-based training into the virtual space. So it's quite interesting to do that. It's not an ideal platform to do a 5-day training course in a virtual classroom. Normally virtual classroom sessions are maybe 90 minutes long max. So it's a really interesting process. So I'll keep on doing that, and then the TV work, that's the thing I really want to be able to try and grow. Unfortunately, lockdown has come at an awful time. The TV industry is absolutely, like most industries actually, hugely affected by this. All the TV production and shoots, they're all shut down. Nobody's doing anything. So hopefully when the lockdown lifts and hopefully we get back to normal, I'm going to really try and push hard to see if I can get more TV projects, because I've loved it so much. And my long-term aspiration would be incredible if I could just do the TV and the YouTube side of things and do less and less telecoms training. But at the moment, those three things, I'm very lucky in some respect, is it gives me a spectrum of places to earn the pennies from. And let's face it, people, as you get older and you get things like mortgages, having income stream is very, very important. So there we go, a little bit about me and my life in training. One of the things I wanted to finish with, and last week I got the terribly, terribly sad news that a good friend of mine, he was in fact my training manager when I was at Ericsson, and then I've kept in touch with him all the way through my career, and for the last 2 or 3 years been working with him with one of my clients delivering training, a guy called Alan Main. Sadly, he succumbed to COVID-19 last week. And it's one of those things, you kind of see these numbers being projected on the TV every night, and then suddenly you know someone who's been affected by it, and it's just so tragic. And I just wanted to kind of, I don't know, it sounds a bit daft really, dedicate this video to him, but he's left behind a family and a group of friends who, he was one of life's good guys, you know. He never had a bad word to say about anybody. He was a gentle giant. He'd have all the time in the world for you. When he was my training manager, his door was always open, and even since then he's always been at the end of an email or a phone call, and he was such a lovely, lovely man. And it's just so tragic. So this one's for you, Alan. Anyway, hope you enjoyed just finding out a little bit about me, my background. If you have done so, please give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you on the next film. I've got to see. Come on! Now the problem with this walk is we walk up this bit of grass to the end, do a U-ey and then come back again. This one's just looking for pheasants, aren't you? Have we found any pheasants today? No. This one knows that we turn round and just sits there and waits. She's so lazy. I think it's hysterical. Anyway guys, I will see you on the next film. You stay at home, you keep well, and most importantly, stay safe.